this is Becky Fox and we're filming a video for the fan base of criticalbench.com. Today we're going to do a lovely breakfast recipe. This is going to be a Greek veggie frittata. So, I've got all the ingredients out here. I'm going to run you through it and show you how to make this. It's a very healthy, high protein meal. It's going to be great for breakfast or even as a snack throughout the day. So the first thing we're going to do is I've actually started the oven. I preheated it to 350 degrees, so you're going to want to do that first because it's going to take a little bit of time to get it going. And then what I've got here is just a small saute pan. We're going to put a little bit of oil in there and we're going to heat it up. Because what we're going to want to do is saute our vegetables before we add them in so they're cooked a little bit and it won't take quite so long to bake and they won't be as crunchy in our frittata here. So I just took a little olive oil, sprayed it in there. You don't need a whole lot, just enough to cook those vegetables. So what we're going to do there is we're going to start with, we have a half a cup of peppers. These are colored peppers, so you can do red peppers, green peppers, yellow peppers, orange peppers, whatever peppers you like. So I chose some yellow peppers. So we're going to go ahead and throw these in here. So we're going to get these sauteed up and get them cooking. And so the pan here, I just kind of put it on a medium heat. Again, so you're going to want to warm that up before you put your vegetables in. And from there, I've got some red onions. So again, a half a cup of red onions, just diced up, nice and small. So we're going to go ahead and add those in there as well. So this is a good way to get some of your veggies in, which I know I'm not a big veggie fan, so anytime I can put them into my dishes, I love to do that. I have 2 cloves of garlic. Garlic adds a lot of flavor. So again, these are just diced up garlic cloves. So we're going to throw all that stuff in there. And what we want to do is just saute it for a couple minutes until they're softened up a little bit. While we let that cook, I have a 9-inch glass pie pan here. So this is where we're actually going to bake the eggs in. So I would go ahead and oil this a little bit. What that'll do is keep it from sticking, so when you go to get it out later, it's not such a pain. So I love this, just spray olive oil, what I use in a lot of my stuff. So I just spray it in there. That way you can get a nice thin coat and you're not using too much oil, which can sometimes add a lot of fats. Although getting some in is definitely healthy for you. So I just sprayed it in there, kind of spread it around so it's even on the whole pie pan. And again, that'll keep the eggs from sticking. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and stir this. Make sure you stir this often. You want to keep them from getting burnt. They're starting to get soft. It only takes a couple of minutes. So on the last minute or so, what we're going to do is we're going to add some tomatoes. So I've got some grape tomatoes here. I've quartered them, so I just cut them in 4s. Just so they're smaller chunks, and we're going to add this in. So this is only about 1/4 of a cup of tomatoes. I think it was about 10 grape tomatoes, so it's not too many. And we're just going to add those in to soften them up a little bit, but we don't want to cook them quite as long as the other vegetables because they're already pretty soft. It's not something that you need to cook for too long. Alright, so we're just going to let that sit for about a minute. While we wait for that, what you can do is, so the eggs, the protein portion of this meal, I went ahead and I've already cracked open 8 eggs, which I put into a dish here. I love these little measuring cups because they pour in real easy, but you can use a bowl or anything like that as well. If you're trying to be careful about how many egg yolks you're doing, you can also do egg whites. So instead of doing 8 eggs, you could double it and do 16 egg whites. So that's up to you and kind of how your diet is, but again, it's a great way to get some protein in. So what we're going to do is take these vegetables that we've sauteed. We're actually going to throw them on the bottom. So we're just going to take them, scrape them right into this pie pan here. And we're just going to kind of spread them around the bottom. So that way they'll kind of be even throughout the whole mixture here. So what we're going to do is we're going to add in some olives. So I've got just just a can, I think it's about a 4-ounce can of black olives. So we're going to go ahead and dump those in here. And any of these ingredients, if you're not a big fan, like if you're not a big fan of olives, you don't have to put them in. So it's kind of up to you. They do add a little flavor if you're an olive fan. So again, we'll just spread those around kind of evenly throughout the bottom. And from there, so what we're going to do now is we've got our eggs. We're going to add a little bit of spices in here, so just to give it a little extra flavor. We've got a couple different things we're going to use. One is oregano. So we're going to take and do a half of a teaspoon of oregano. Just dump that in there. And same with basil. We're going to add a half a teaspoon of basil. Basil is great. Oregano is great. They add a lot of flavor. They also have a lot of healthy antioxidants that are good for us as well. And then I'll add a little bit of salt, not too much. If you're trying to be careful with how much salt you're taking, you can take the salt out completely. You don't have to use it. I like to add it for just a little bit of flavor. I use a Himalayan sea salt, which is really tasty. So again, this is 1/4 of a teaspoon. So the basil and the oregano, I did a 1/4 teaspoon. This is going to be a little bit less, or I messed it up. We do a half of a teaspoon of the herbs, and then we just do a 1/4 of a teaspoon of the salt. And same thing with the pepper. We're going to do about the same, a 1/4 of a teaspoon. This is a grinder, so I can't really measure it out. I'm just going to kind of wing it here. But just put a little pepper in there, again, for a little bit of flavor. All right, we're getting there. We're almost there. So the last thing is we're going to add a little bit of feta cheese. So basically, what we've got here is about a half of a cup of feta. We're just going to add it in with the eggs. So feta is great. It adds a little bit of flavor into this, so it definitely makes it really tasty. So not too much, just about a half of a cup. And I'm going to mix all this stuff together. And we're going to take that. We're just going to pour it right on top. Alright, so that's all our ingredients. All we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and throw this into the oven. We're going to bake it usually about 20 to 25 minutes. You want to keep it in there until the eggs are cooked all the way through and they're not runny. So make sure once you get close to that 20 minutes, you're kind of checking it just to see where it is and making sure you don't burn it. So we're going to go ahead and throw this right in the oven, and we'll be back here in a little bit. Alright, so the frittata should be done. We're going to go ahead and pull it out and check it out and make sure it's good to go. Alright, well that definitely looks done. Again, you just want to make sure that it's cooked all the way through. You can even grab a fork. You may want to kind of check the middle just to make sure it's cooked all the way through. So what you're looking for is just to make sure the eggs aren't runny and that they're set. And this, yeah, this is definitely done. From there, you can just slice it up and serve it on a plate. It's great hot, eating it right out of the oven. Or it's even great cold, or you can warm it up again the next day for a meal later on. So, you can make it the night before. You have a quick and easy breakfast for the next day. So thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time.